I love popcorn, but every time I eat it, my blood sugar spikes like crazy. And the weird part, I was bolusing for it. So I finally decided to run a simple experiment. And honestly, I don't know why it took me almost 40 plus years living with type 1 diabetes to actually test this. But here we are. So I take the same popcorn, the same time of night, and I use the same insulin pump. I use a tandem T-Slim. And the only thing I changed was how I counted the carbs. And the results surprised me. One night my blood sugar shot up, and the other night it stayed almost completely flat. Eating popcorn. Here's what I mean. Most of the time when I bolus for food, I use net carbs. That's pretty common teaching in type 1 diabetes and carb counting. You take the total carbs, subtract the fiber, and then that gives you the net carbs, which you, in turn, take an insulin injection for based on your insulin to carb ratios. And that generally works pretty well most of the time. But popcorn might not behave the way we think it does. So the first night I did this experiment, I did what I normally do. I bolus for the net carbs on the label. Same popcorn I always eat. After I ate it, my blood sugar spiked. My CGM looked like this. Pretty classic spike, which is exactly what kept happening every time I ate popcorn. Most of my life. It's been happening for years. So the next night, I tried something completely different. Same popcorn, same portion, literally the same microwave popcorn bag, and pretty close to the same time of night. But this time, instead of bolusing for net carbs, you guessed it, I bolused for the total carbs on the label. I didn't even look at the fiber. And this time, my graph looked like this. Maybe a tiny little bump, but certainly no spike. Just a pretty smooth line. At first, I thought maybe this was a complete fluke. Like, how could, after this many years, this is all I needed to tweak? So I tried it a few more times, and sure enough, it worked. And that's when it clicked for me. Popcorn is a high-fiber food. Most of us know that, right? But metabolically, it behaves much more like processed starch. And when foods behave like processed starch, counting only the net carbs means you end up taking less insulin than you actually need, which can leave you chasing a spike later on. If you're enjoying this diabetes experiment, hit that like button and drop me a comment. That really helps the channel and helps me keep making more videos like this. Now, obviously, this was just one simple experiment, but it matches something I've seen with other foods too that I've tried. Things like potato chips, crackers, cereal, foods that technically contain some fiber, but still hit your blood sugar fast. But here's something you might want to try. Next time you eat popcorn, try bolusing closer to the total carbs instead of the net carbs. The same food, same timing, just that one thing and see what happens on your graph. And just so you know, diabetes affects everybody differently. Popcorn might do this to me, but it might do something completely different for you. So always test carefully using your own settings and your own systems. Test, I like to say. Because the truth is, diabetes usually doesn't get easier when you try to be perfect. It gets easier when you start recognizing some patterns. And sometimes the difference between a spike and a flat line is just one small tweak. You ever had days where your blood sugar makes absolutely no sense, even when you're doing everything right? Watch this one next.